about this. I'm a conservative, and I'm a Donald Trump supporter. I love what he's doing. But ask this Democrat on MSNBC about Pam Bondi.
So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice, Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So
you know what's amazing about that statement? Just in the context of what we just learned about Xavier Becerra and how they've been sending kids to strip clubs and gang members, is that you have a whole bunch of people now that are being human trafficked. And so Pam Bondi, her big thing is combating human trafficking. So this jackhole on MSNBC is saying that they need to fear Pam Bondi, a woman who wants to rescue children from human trafficking. Isn't that crazy for the Democrats to say? Isn't that weird? That the Democrats actually fear somebody who is competent at rescuing children from human trafficking. It's bizarre.
So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice, Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Isn't that crazy? A dangerous pick for wanting to combat child sex trafficking, murderous illegal aliens being let into our country. That's what MSNBC and the left thinks about Pam Bondi. Got a little bit more on this. 7:15, time to check the roads on WTN. Thank you very much. 7:15 on Nashville's Morning News. Today, cloudy, a high near 50. Partly cloudy this weekend, a high on Saturday. 53 degrees, a high on Sunday. 64 degrees right now, 43 at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I love the pick of Pam Bondi for a few reasons, a few resume points, if you will. She was on Trump's defense team during the Ukraine impeachment. That was, in case you're keeping track, the first one. She was Florida's attorney general, taking on drugs and gangs, illegal immigration. Again, I can't say it enough. Doing everything she could to combat human trafficking. Again, that is one of her passions. She's really a no-nonsense, tough-on-crime prosecutor. She was a Trump supporter from literally day one. She endorsed Donald Trump over Marco Rubio in 2016, almost immediately, and she has never wavered from that Donald Trump support. Here she is talking about Donald Trump as he was running against Joe Biden.
This has never in our history of our country happened before, where we have a president do so many great things because, of course, typically we have consecutive terms. Now people got to see 4 years without Donald Trump and to see what happened to our country. And remember his hauntingly prophetic speech in 2020 where he said, what is fuel now? About $2 a gallon? What if Biden got in office? What would it be? $8, $9, and sure enough, look what happened.
Yeah, Donald Trump was right on a number of different things, and Pam Bondi was and has been at his side ever since that first run for the presidency, and she's right. You know, it's going to be interesting because, you know, Trump left Biden, in my opinion, he left him a lot of solutions to the problems as we were getting out of COVID. And Joe Biden did what Democrats do, and he just went full-on nut job progressive. So now Trump has to come in, and he's got to fix everything. But I think that Pam Bondi is somebody who epitomizes what Donald Trump wants, somebody who will focus on the rule of law and the corruption that we've seen from the Department of Justice. I mean, if you're one of those hate listeners and you're like, who've been awfully silent lately, the hate listeners, but if you're one of those hate listeners and you're saying, oh, Trump's nothing but a misogynist, really? Oh, Donald Trump doesn't surround himself with strong women. Really? What would you call Pam Bondi? Florida's first female attorney general from 2011 to 2019. Again, she spent 18 years as a prosecutor, very strong, very successful. She was also chairman of America First Policy Institute. Now, that is the America First Policy Institute. That is an institute run by people affiliated with the Donald Trump, former Trump administration staffers to basically lay the groundwork for Donald Trump's second term. And these policy institutes, they do exist, and they exist outside of the campaigns. And she was chairwoman of that organization. And she had a great speech, Pam Bondi did, going all the way back to 2016 when Trump was running. This was at the RNC in 2016, Pam Bondi.
Because winning this election means reclaiming something to which I've dedicated my entire career, the rule of law. Laws that make our neighborhoods safe, laws that make our economy strong, laws that apply equally to everyone.
There you go. She has a ton of media experience. She's been on The Five over on Fox as, I guess, a guest commentator. She's done interviews on unfriendly networks like CNN. She battled Obamacare in Florida. Again, I can't mention this enough. Really big on fighting human trafficking. And she's a friend of the Trump family. Don't forget, she's from Florida. A lot of the Trump family live in Florida as well. And she was on Fox News. I think this was last week, where she was on Fox News and she was asked about the possibility of Laura Trump replacing Marco Rubio, because Marco Rubio is now Senator Marco Rubio, who is now Donald Trump's Secretary of State. And this is what she said about Laura Trump.
I know her very well. She is a proven leader. I worked with her and Mike Whatley on the RNC. They helped stop this voter fraud throughout the country. They got the vote out. They protected the vote. No one works as hard as Laura Trump. I can't be objective because she's also my friend. She's a mom. She's a great wife, and she would be a tremendous leader for the state of Florida. And we're blessed to have Laura in our state with us.
So apparently she's a friend of Laura Trump. And I like that. She'll absolutely, I believe, sail through the confirmation hearings. At least that's what I'm hearing so far from people that I know. She's competent. She has experience. She seems to be, anyway, free of any real controversy. She has terrific media experience. And yes, she is really smooth. I mean, she's, you know, you throw something at her, she's going to hit it right back. And just the other day, she was talking about the disaster at FEMA. Whereas, you know, at FEMA, I've been covering this incessantly, they're accused of not helping Trump-supporting homes.
Because these aren't Democrats, these aren't Republicans, these are Americans who are having their civil rights violated because they chose to have a Donald Trump sign in their front yard.
So at the end of the day, you are confident that FEMA leadership will ultimately be held accountable and change will come to that agency if wrongdoing is found.
Absolutely, and after January 20th, major change is going to come.
Love what she has to say there. It is 7:21. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones, what's coming up in the news at 7:30?
Well, after a teen shooting at a WeGo bus station this week, what the company says about keeping its riders safe. Also, the holiday travel season is about to begin. We'll tell you why you can expect fewer searches to be performed at the airport. Those stories at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan, and skip the hassle and sell your home with the strongest cash offer this fall with my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate. Their guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. That guaranteed offer, you can skip the uncertainty and sell your home fast for all cash in as little as 21 days. You can also move when you want to move. There's no showings, no open houses, and no costly repairs. With Mark Spain Real Estate, it's cash in hand and a stress-free sale. Listener Ryan said that Mark Spain Real Estate exceeded their expectations by helping them achieve significantly over their asking price. They say, we can't recommend Mark Spain enough. And I'm in the same boat. Now, their guaranteed offer gives you the peace of mind that your home will be sold when you need it to be sold. Skip the hassle and sell your home with the strongest cash offer this fall. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis said hello at 855-299-SOLD. 855-299-SOLD. You can also find them online. It is markspain.com. Markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Hey everybody, Dan Mandis from Nashville's Morning News. The Wall Street Journal reported a while ago that people are feeling stress, anxiety, and depression because of this election. If that's you, talk to my guy, Dr. Christopher Van Shank. He is a psychiatrist out in Nolensville. Now, he can help you with not only depression, if you're feeling it because of politics or whatever, but he can also help you with alcoholism, drug abuse as well. Go to his website, nolensvillepsychiatry.com. He's got a long list of conditions that he can help you with, either in person or at telehealth. Bottom line is, he wants to make it as easy as possible for you to get the help that you need. He can help your kids as well. Check him out online. Again, nolensvillepsychiatry.com. The number's below. Thanks for listening, and good luck. 727, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open. This is from Heather. Hey, Mandis, how do you know kids have been sent to gangs, etc.? My liberal sister-in-law has been listening and learning and questions statements like that. Okay, fair enough. Congressional reports, number one. This is from the Christian Post. During a House of Representatives Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration Integrity, Security, and Enforcement hearings on Wednesday, Representative Tom Tiffany questioned the HHS secretary about a Florida grand jury report accusing the agency of sending migrant children to a Jacksonville strip club. The hearing examined what Republican lawmakers say are the failures of the HHS Office of Refugee Resettlement, including the fast-tracking the release of gang-affiliated and criminal unaccompanied alien children, and the agency's prioritization of speed over safety in the placement of unaccompanied migrant children. In other words, they've got so many kids that they're just, here, take them, right? Because they've got a lot of kids. And so they're not truly vetting. And so you've got some folks that are out there that are asking legit questions about lawmakers that are asking, where exactly are you sending these kids? And so you've got local authorities there in Florida saying these kids were sent to a Jacksonville strip club, and that's where they were pimped out. Other story, whistleblower reports allege that the Biden administration has lost thousands of migrant children or allowing them to fall into the hands of potential criminals. So there's just, the reporting is all over the place. And I mean, you might want to send your sister-in-law the links that I just sent you, Heather, back at you on the super text line, which is 615-737-9986. It is 7:30 on WTN.
Good morning. It's 7:30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Stick around for the full forecast and traffic still to come. President-elect Trump moving quickly to replace former Congressman Matt Gaetz after he withdrew as the nominee for Attorney General, replacing him with former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi.
In announcing his choice, Trump praised Bondi as a smart and tough America First fighter, pledging she will, quote, refocus the DOJ to its intended purpose of fighting crime and making America safe again.
That's ABC's Jonathan Karl. In Nashville, WeGo is addressing Tuesday's deadly shooting at the downtown bus station. Yesterday's board meeting started with a moment of silence and the following statement.
The violence is inexcusable. We all know that, though, right? There are no words that can adequately speak to the value of human life. Here at MTA WeGo, the safety of our passengers, drivers, and staff is paramount.
The board renewed a contract to keep off-duty cops at the downtown location on top of the regular duty officers who patrol the central station. The busiest travel season of the year is about to hit, and there's some news that the Justice Department has ordered the Drug Enforcement Administration to suspend its searches of airport passengers. The DOJ said that DEA agents stopped some passengers solely because they bought last-minute tickets, and they demand to search those passengers' bags, causing what could be a civil rights violation. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Dow futures are adding 55 this morning, but the NASDAQ futures are down 15, and the S&P futures are unchanged. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:32, Nashville's Morning News. Are the relatives coming to your home for Thanksgiving dinner? Let Busy Bee help by ensuring that your home is in-law and relative ready. Now, Busy Bee has a number of different ways to save you money. For instance, they've got a limited number of 14 SEER 1 and 1.5 to 3 ton split heat pumps for only $69.95. Now, this system offers a great balance of energy, efficiency, performance, and year-round comfort for residential homes. How about a $750 off an upright tanked water heater with circulation kit or a free package upgrade for air duct cleaning? Again, so many ways to save you money. Now, I'm a Beehive member, and I have been for years. If you're a Beehive member or you want to sign up real quick, well, that means that you get a free Beehive membership that you can turn around and give to the in-laws. So again, if you're already a Beehive member, you qualify for the additional membership for the in-laws. Bringing families together the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. For satisfaction guaranteed, call Busy Bee HVAC. They are your Rude Pro partner, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
Got an accident this morning, 24 westbound lanes. This is at Old Hickory Boulevard North, exit 40. That's blocking off the right shoulder. Then, same spot, 24 westbound lanes, but this is at exit 56. The right lane is blocked in that area by a crash as well. That's in Antioch. And also in White House, an overturned vehicle on the right shoulder. Been there all night. It's on I-65 southbound lanes at Bethel Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.737, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Kind of funny, Joan and Johnny. I said that I hadn't really been hearing from the hate listeners since that whole election thing that happened back on November 5th. Here they are.
Oh, they awakened.
I awaken the sleeping midget that is my hate listeners.
Oh, this is awesome. Go ahead.
Whatever. One guy says, this is 2847, says, guess Gates' rape allegations were too much for other Republicans, but not you.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Allegations, dude. You know, I'd like to see some of these people. I'd like to have their entire life and their entire career destroyed by allegations. Nothing proven, no charges, nothing. And so then you can see how it feels to be a Matt Gaetz.
Investigated with no charges, but still sticking to him.
Joe Biden's DOJ, for the love of Pete.
Yes.
So whatever. But, I actually don't care about them.
Oh, Joe Biden.
4617. Oh, we're definitely still here. 1570. They prefer the term little people, not midgets. I did call the sleep. What did I say? The sleeping midget that is my.
Yes.
As opposed to the sleeping giant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on, Joe. That was funny.
Okay, it was funny.
You got to give it to me sometimes.
Well.
This guy says, 1082 says, I see what Heather is saying because previous to the break, we're talking about where are the 400,000 kids? Some were sent to a strip club in Florida and they were pimped out there, and some were sent to gangbangers. And these are just either whistleblowers have said this or local authorities have said this. And so, it's not just hyperbole. And so this is something that is really happening.
But this is people we're talking about. This is people, children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Children.
Just
that
set
we're
out.
talking about just being sent off to a strip club. This is evil.
Well, yeah, it is
in our
evil.
faces. This is so evil.
Well, not to even mention that the government doesn't even know where these children
Yes.
go.
Well, the Biden administration, I just played the audio where Xavier Becerra has no idea. Alejandro Mayorkas, I've played that audio many, many, many times, has no idea where they are. Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is. But 1082 says...
Old Celtic himself.
1082 says, I see what Heather is saying. 400,000 kids didn't show up at one strip club. He says, if immigration does not know what happened to them, like you said, and then how could you know what happened to them? Under that reasoning, 99.9% of them could safely be in vetted homes. The point is they don't know, 1082. The point is they don't know. And that's, I guess I would say, you don't find that to be problematic? You don't find that to be a problem when we know for an absolute fact that Mexico and El Salvador and in all of these countries send people in to be sex trafficked? They send drugs in here as well. There was the New York Times report where they talked about how there were thousands of kids who were working under slave labor, slave-like conditions here in America. And they're illegal alien kids, and they're afraid to go to the authorities because of the situation with deportation.
Do you remember when Donald Trump was president and every single news organization began their news days and all day long talked about how the children were being separated from their parents?
Oh, it was such a travesty.
It was horrifying. P.S. They didn't even know that these kids were their own, these people's children.
Right. Yeah,
but
they didn't.
Every day, where is the press on this? Why aren't they talking about it?
Yeah, and Trump put them in cages, Joan.
Yes, I saw that.
Those were Obama's cages,
Exactly,
number one.
exactly.
And number two, the reasoning why these kids were, and I'm going to air quote this, separated from their parents is because they didn't want to put all of these kids in with known criminals that were coming across the border. So you've got all these kids that are with their supposed parents, and then do you really want them to throw them all in the same facility with a bunch of known gangbangers and rapists and so forth? So you had to separate them. Otherwise, these kids are going to go into a situation where you don't even know if they're with their parents because the cartels, they would recycle kids. They would use a kid to get these people through? Because if you had a kid, then they just kind of let you fast-track you, let you right into the country. If you had a kid, they'd send that kid back and bring another group of people in. And that's what the cartels did. So, I mean, I'm sorry, 1082 and others, if you haven't been paying attention to the absolute immigration train wreck that has been the last 4 years in this country. I can't sit here and try to catch you up in one little monologue, but that is what's been going on. So there. 615-737-9986. Coming up, Nancy Mace, of course, as she is still going after this whole congressional bathroom controversy. It does continue, and she is actually escalating it. I've got details straight ahead. 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN. Cloudy today, a high near 50, right now 42. Partly cloudy this weekend, a high on Saturday 53, a high on Sunday 64 degrees, and again 42 degrees at Super Talk 99.7. Nancy Mace, Congresswoman versus Sarah McBride. Now, Mace is the Congresswoman out of South Carolina. Sarah McBride, we talked about this yesterday. She is the newly elected Congresswoman out of Delaware, who is a trans woman or a guy who identifies as a woman and wanted to use the men's room on Capitol Hill. And as you know, again, we covered this yesterday, Nancy Mace had a big issue with that.
I've endured sexual abuse and I have PTSD from that abuse. And just the idea that a man would force himself into our dressing rooms or in our locker rooms, or in the stall next to me, and his junk. It's an assault on women.
I mean, she's laying it right out. And the thing about Nancy Mace and what we've seen over the last week or so is that she is being very graphic about all of this. And she should, because you have to be graphic when you're talking about things like this. Because women, they don't want to have to deal with a dude in their spaces, and that's the bottom line. Isn't it crazy how, Democrats are always saying, oh, the Republicans, they're a danger to women. Really? Because you're the ones that want, a bunch of guys in women's dressing rooms. And so this has become, or bathrooms, this has become a very big deal. Mace, again, has been all over the place with the very graphic language, saying that only biological women should be allowed to use women's rooms. Now, there's been a lot of guys on Capitol Hill who don't even want to have to deal with this. And I was kind of surprised by this. They want to stay away from it. Mike Johnson, the speaker, was one of them. And so now Nancy Mace has filed legislation.
Well, I'm going to put all of my male colleagues on notice. I want you on record. I want to know if you respect the dignity of your female colleagues. Do women on the Hill have rights, or do we not? Are you going to force this down our throats, or are you going to respect us and respect our rights as women?
I mean, listen, Sarah McBride, I don't know what's going on, underneath the dress, but what I do know is that whatever is down there is enough to really freak out Nancy Mace. And she, her history. She has PTSD because she has been raped. She doesn't want to have to deal with a man and all that comes with a man in the dressing rooms or in the locker rooms or in the bathrooms of Capitol Hill. Now, from the category of way overreacting,
are endangering all women and girls. Because if you ask them, what is your plan on how to enforce this? They won't come up with an answer. And what it inevitably results in are women and girls who are primed for assault because people are going to want to check their private parts in suspecting who is trans and who is cis and who's doing what.
All right, so it's AOC's assertion that you're going to have people walking around looking down the skirts of women who want to make sure that they're women to allow them to go into a specific bathroom. I mean, this is insanity. Now, I read the resolution. Nowhere does it say that pants are going to be pulled down and skirts are going to be looked up. Nowhere. And so what AOC is trying to do is try to make this look worse than it is. Representative McBride has made a big deal about being trans. As a matter of fact, it was actually part of her platform when she was running. And so we know that she's a guy in a dress. She actually took a selfie inside of a women's bathroom in North Carolina while passing through that state to protest their only men in the men's room laws. So, yeah, everybody knows what Sarah McBride is. Nobody is talking about running around and looking up, skirts and pulling down pants. Nobody's talking about that. So what AOC is trying to do is make this seem far more worse than it actually is, like AOC and the Democrats do.
And so the idea that Nancy Mace wants little girls and women to drop trow in front of who? An investigator? Who would that be? In order, because she wants to suspect and point fingers at who she thinks is trans, is disgusting. It is disgusting. And frankly, all it does is allow these Republicans to go around and bully any woman who isn't wearing a skirt because they think she might not look woman enough.
Come on. What a dolt. I don't even know. There's not, you know what? I can't say the words on the radio that I want to say to describe the fake news and accusations of AOC. So I will let her words speak for themselves. But here's the deal. This is a guy, Sarah McBride, who has made a political career out of being trans and wants to use the women's room. That is a fair game conversation. And if Nancy Mace, who has been raped and has PTSD because of that rape, doesn't want to share a bathroom, then I think that is perfectly reasonable. So to me, all of this is really just silly.
And if a woman doesn't look woman enough to a Republican, they want to be able to inspect her genitals to use a bathroom. It's disgusting. And everybody, no matter how you feel on this issue, should reject it completely.
So I would say to AOC, I reject your clear mischaracterizing of this legislation. And what's disgusting is her lying about the impact of this bill.
I'm the boss.
She's taking gigantic leaps. Was that you, Johnny, or Joan? Who was that? That was Johnny? It's going to be scary if she ever does get any real power in Washington, D.C. By the way, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, did come out with a statement saying that public single-sex facilities could be used only by individuals of that biological sex. It did not mention how the directive would be enforced. He says all single-sex facilities in the Capitol and House office buildings, such as restrooms, changing rooms, and locker rooms, are reserved for individuals of that biological sex. Johnson, a Louisiana Republican, said it is important to note that each member has their own private bathroom in their office, and there are unisex restrooms available throughout the Capitol. Women deserve women's-only spaces, he says, highlighting his objection to identifying trans women according to their gender identity. By the way, McBride came out, just to give some credit, McBride came out with a statement saying that he'll abide by the House rules and that all of this is just a distraction. Others, by the way, say that Mace is simply trying to fundraise off of this or try to get onto Fox News. And now Mace is saying that she wants to bring that men in women's bathroom ban across the entire country on a federal piece of legislation. So she wants to do that all across the country, banning men in women's bathrooms. And I will tell you that I agree that there should not be men in women's spaces. That, my friends, is the bottom line. 7:53, and Joan Jones is coming up, and Joan was coming up.
Well, the latest cabinet pick for President-elect Donald Trump, it's a big one, too, and hopes are dashed for a professional baseball in one local community. We'll tell you which one. Those stories at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
754 Nashville's Morning News. Stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days. Thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Listen, homeowners, this is for you. Dan Mandis here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home's equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, and no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as a day. Now, one client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto right now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. So don't wait. Get your cash fast and call them 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780. Find them online, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Well, good morning. It's 8 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Stick around for the forecast and traffic still to come. With Matt Gaetz out of the picture, President-elect Trump has selected Pam Bondi to become the next Attorney General.
She's the former Florida Attorney General. She was on his first impeachment defense team. She showed up at the Manhattan trial. She's a fierce defender of Donald Trump. She's advised him on multiple issues legally. She's also very close with Trump's incoming chief of staff, Susie Wiles. That's another element of that here. Remember, Susie Wiles was out of the loop with the Gaetz decision. This seems to have her fingerprints on it in lots of ways.
That's ABC's Catherine Falders reporting, and there are more cabinet picks to be made, too.
Treasury's the last big one to come, and we expected a decision on this days ago. Trump has interviewed the finalists, there's 4 of them, several times. I am told that there is a major disagreement that has broken out among the transition over who they think Trump should pick. It's been described by one Trump advisor as a knife fight. But of course, ultimately, this decision will be one person and one person's to make alone, and that's Donald Trump.
ABC News Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl there. An escaped inmate back in custody this morning, Tony Sweeten, was found and arrested around midnight in Coffee County, and police tell us he was taken into custody along with his mother. Sweeten had escaped from a transport van after making a court appearance in Coffee County on a statutory rape charge. The Trump Vance transition team has still not signed documents required to formally begin a transition of power. The White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, saying that without those documents, the government can't provide any security clearances and briefings. But it also means the FBI is not screening Trump's picks for the cabinet and other key posts, which may eventually force senators to vote on Trump's cabinet picks without the benefit of the usual background checks. Any hopes for professional baseball in Murfreesboro have been dashed for now.
Just last week, renderings of what a stadium would look like in Cannonsburg Village were released. But yesterday, Mayor Shane McFarland announced the city council is not going to approve it for now. The city has too many other urgent needs, he says, like $1.2 billion worth of upgrades to roads, public safety, parks, and solid waste. So instead of taking on bond debt for a stadium, Mayor McFarland says Murfreesboro will dedicate $500 million over the next 8 years to work on infrastructure. As for the people behind the proposal, calling themselves Home Run History, they say they respect the city's decision and hope to bring it up again someday. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Looks like the Wall Street is on track for a winning week, but no big changes in stocks right now. It points to a flat open in just about a half hour. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. White House, an overturned vehicle is now on the right shoulder, but it's been there all morning. 65 southbound lanes after Bethel Road. Also a crash in Antioch. This is on 24, the westbound lanes after Harding Place, exit 56. The right lane is blocked off there. And in Stones River on Lebanon Pike, west of Dania Crest Drive, an accident involving injuries. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Information fueled,
opinion driven. This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
we talk news.
8:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. Then, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones is here. Johnny B. I'm Dan, the one that's having troubles getting through a sentence. There's some news. Russia is threatening to hit our U.S. base in Poland. And you got Vladimir Zelensky out here. Now, we've been talking about this all week, so I'm just going to briefly retrace. You've got Joe Biden. He said a number of things this week as it relates to the Ukraine war. Number one, Joe Biden allowed the Zelensky and Ukraine to use these long-range missiles against Russia. Now, that really ticked off Vladimir Putin. And so Vladimir Putin said that he was going to start using, nukes and all that kind of stuff. This is something that Putin has always said. This is something that he is always repeating. If there's something that somebody does that he doesn't like, namely the United States, Western nations, he said, don't forget, I've got the nukes. I'm not allowed to use them. So Biden allows Zelensky, after many years of asking, Biden says, okay, go ahead and use those long-range missiles. Zelensky, Ukraine, immediately starts using those missiles. At the same time, Joe Biden also allows Ukraine to use anti-personnel landmines, which is also highly controversial. So that's two things. Number three, in the news, I think this broke yesterday, Biden comes out and he says, oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to forgive half of what Ukraine owes to us, America. Forgive half. And so people are angry about that as well. So those are three big things going on right now. Don't forget, Antony Blinken came out, Secretary of State, and he said, oh, you know what? Every dollar we have is going to be given to Ukraine. Forget about what's going on in America. Every dollar we have is going to go to Ukraine. So now Russia and Vladimir Putin, it's his turn. And now he is saying that he is going to, or at least he's threatening to hit our U.S. base in America. He also, by the way, fired some rockets, I guess, into Ukraine. And these are very sophisticated rockets. You know what I love about Zelensky? Which, by the way, is nothing. But he fires all of these missiles into Russia, courtesy of our taxpayer dollars and America. And so then you've got Putin, who fires rockets back into Ukraine, very sophisticated rockets, by the way. And now Zelensky is saying, oh, this is an escalation. What the hell do you think you've been doing, Zelensky? So it's like, I just want to make sure, and listen, in this case, I'm just analyzing this, all right? I am against all of this funding going to Ukraine, just so you know where I stand on all this. Zelensky, though, just analyzing this situation, it's okay for him to send all of these rockets into Russia, but it's an escalation when Vladimir Putin responds in kind. And now, again, this is from the New York Post. Russia threatens to strike new U.S. base in Poland, according to a number of different media outlets out there. So this is a very big deal, and it could be a very interesting weekend. Meantime, yesterday, this week, there was a hearing, a House Homeland Security hearing, where Alejandro Mayorkas and Christopher Wray, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and of course we all know who Alejandro Mayorkas is, they were supposed to arrive at this hearing for House Homeland Security so that they could talk about the state of the nation and the dangers that are going on right now across the world against the American people and across the world as well. And of course, you've got China, you've got Iran, and yes, you have the situation in Russia and Ukraine. So News Nation is talking about this. People on both sides of the aisle are outraged. Do you know why they're outraged? They're outraged because Alejandro Mayorkas and Christopher Wray, they didn't show up. They didn't show up at a time when America seems to be literally at a boiling point. And you've got Vladimir Putin once again threatening nukes. And they didn't bother to show up.
Yeah, it can be rare for Republicans and Democrats to agree and show the same emotion, but we saw outrage from both sides of the aisle when the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and FBI Director Christopher Wray didn't show up for this annual hearing detailing threats to national security here in the United States. Again, this is an annual hearing that's held at the Capitol with some of the top leaders in defense. The committee says it's the first time in at least 15 years, the agency heads have refused to appear publicly for the annual hearing. This annual hearing in the Senate focuses, like I said, on foreign and domestic threats. Both the FBI and Department of Homeland Security released similar statements, with the FBI writing, quote, FBI leaders believe the committee would benefit most from further discussions and additional information that can only be provided in a classified setting. That was their take on all this, saying that this should be a classified meeting. But again, Democrats, like the chairman of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, saying that Americans deserve transparency and knowing more information about these threats, while Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida called the two defense leaders cowards for not showing up, Marky.
Yeah, there you go, News Nation. And, I mean, I would agree. I understand their point that they want it behind closed doors. Do you know why I'd be willing to bet that Alejandro Mayorkas and Christopher Wray want these meetings behind closed doors? Because the American people would be absolutely terrified at their screw-ups. I think that's probably part of what it is. We're already terrified. Look at the story that I covered in the previous segment, or I guess in the previous hour, where we've got hundreds of thousands of kids coming across our southern border, and they're being shipped to strip clubs and gang members. And, of course, you know what happens when they get shipped to gang members, right? They join the gang. And, by the way, these are gangs that we let in, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. We're letting them come in, and then we send kids there, and then those kids are either sex trafficked or they become gang members themselves. And the whole thing gets worse. And now here we are with Zelensky firing our rockets into Russia, and then Vladimir Putin strikes back at Zelensky, and Zelensky is now crying. It's like, you know what Vladimir Zelensky is like? He's like the kid who you couldn't stand in school, who he'll throw like 15 rocks at you, and so then you throw a rock back, you hit him right in the head, and he goes, screaming and crying home to mommy. That's what Vladimir Zelensky is like. Because he's saying, oh, this is an escalation by Vladimir Putin. Well, what the hell did you think he was going to do? So Joe Biden and the Democrats are purposely doing what the American people voted against. The American people on November 5th, they voted for de-escalation of Ukraine and Russia. Donald Trump has been calling for de-escalation. He has been saying that he wants to de-escalate. He's been saying that he could wrap this thing up with a few phone calls. Okay, but not if Joe Biden plants such an absolute, complete, and utter mess that it is impossible to avoid World War III just as Donald Trump is coming into office. And then you have Mayorkas and Christopher Wray refusing to show up. And everybody, but isn't that really indicative, honestly, of Alejandro Mayorkas and Christopher Wray? Haven't they been not showing up for like 4 years now? So they might as well go out like they've been doing the entire 4 years, and that is just hiding from the American people and not doing their job. 8:16 on WTN, time to check the roads. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Cloudy today, highs near 50, partly cloudy this weekend. High on Saturday, 53, and a high on Sunday, 64 degrees. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so I was talking earlier. Let me see if I can find the story. Because the super texters are all over me, guys. They're all over me for apparently a misspeak that I apparently made earlier. And it was the story of Nancy Mace and Sarah McBride. Now, Nancy Mace doesn't want men in the girls' room. And so apparently at one point in this story, I referred to Sarah McBride as a she. Now, here's what's crazy. I spent an entire, first of all, I think y'all are mistaken because I was talking about AOC and Nancy Mace when I said she. With Sarah McBride, I know for a fact I said he a couple of different times. But what's funny is I spent the entire 10-minute segment talking about how Sarah McBride should not be allowed in the women's room, not only on Capitol Hill, but I don't like, and I've been saying this for years, I don't like women or men pretending to be women in bathrooms or women's private spaces for years. And every time I do that, every single time I do that, I put my career on the line. Because as you know, or you should know, people get canceled for that. Now, obviously, I'm still here, and I say what I say, and whatever happens, happens. But people are like, stop calling McBride a she. I don't think that I did, to be honest with you. But if I did, it's hard to keep everybody's pronouns straight when you're talking about two women and somebody who identifies as a woman, but is actually a man. Other than that, though, I really thank you for listening. 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. I was also going around talking about the Pete Hegseth thing. And I don't know if anybody else is going to touch on this. I don't really understand, and I mentioned this in the 6 o'clock hour. Why does this story keep changing? The woman who is accusing Pete Hegseth of sexual assault in the hotel room, there were several stories yesterday talking about how she was stone cold sober. Sober as the day is long. But now the story is, at least one of the stories that I see, shows that she herself was drunk. So which is it? Was she drunk or was she sober? Because I think that does change the story, does it not? And so for me, now that Matt Gaetz is out, now everybody is focused on Pete Hegseth. He said yesterday he was being led around Capitol Hill by Marsha Blackburn, by the way, and also Bill Haggerty.
Did you sexually assault a woman in Monterey, California? I have, as far as the media is concerned, I'll keep this very simple. The matter was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much.
That's what he's saying. He was completely cleared, and he was. There were no charges filed. But the newest version of this story from The Hill is that the woman, Jane Doe, had been drinking at the bar. She was drunk. She ended up back at Hegseth's room, and that he stole her phone and blocked the door. She woke up and she remembered very little. It was only 5 days later, as she was being intimate with her husband, that she realized that she may have been raped. Now, she ends up going to the hospital and at some point getting a rape kit. And they said that they found evidence of intercourse, if you know what I mean. But if she realized that she was raped after being intimate with her husband, then doesn't that show that that evidence could have been her husband? Doe said that she did not fully remember the event until having sex with her husband well after the incident. And then a few days later, she did go to the hospital. So a full 7-8 days later, she finally goes to the hospital.
Did they do DNA testing? Do you know?
That I don't know. And that would be helpful. I haven't seen that.
Would. It would also be definitive.
Oh, absolutely. It would be definitive. And that's a great point, Joan. Why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Police found evidence of an argument between Doe and Hegseth at the pool of the hotel, which later shows the two walking together with linked arms, with Doe reportedly smiling. There is no further video evidence of the two after they walked back to the hotel bar. Hegseth's camp says the video evidence does support his version of the story, which is that both of these married folks had consensual sex. In the report, Hegseth says that he does not remember an argument by the hotel pool and that he did not try to hit on Jane Doe, but that she was interested in him and may have led him to his hotel room. Hegseth, who said that he was buzzed that night, said the entire encounter was consensual and that Doe expressed regret afterwards for cheating on her husband. And so maybe the husband found out, she told him, then she screamed rape. I don't know. Whole thing is sad. The Hill has reached out to the Trump transition team for comment, but a spokesperson telling the Associated Press that the police report corroborates Hegseth's story, which is the incident was fully investigated and no charges were filed because police found the allegations to be false. Now, to be clear, it's Hegseth's team and the Trump transition team that are saying that no charges were filed because police found the allegations to be false. The actual police report did not disclose whether officials believe the allegations are true or false. But I would have to ask this question, and I guess this is for, you cops out there. If a police report was done and there were no charges filed, then does that not mean that they felt like the allegations were not true? I don't know. I mean, it seems like if they felt like there was a credible accusation here against Pete Hegseth, then they would have filed some sort of a charge. So just to speak honestly about this, look, we're all adults here and we cover the news. And part of my job is to talk about the news. So it seems to me like both of these folks were drinking. They were not home. They were at this conservative conference. They got drunk and went back to his room and did what people do. And then it sounds like she may have had some regret of the matter. And then she started screaming rape. Then the cops checked it out. They didn't feel like there was enough evidence to press charges. And so that's where it lie for 7 years. Now, there was the accusation that he paid her off. What is that? A non-disclosure report, whatever it is. So he gave her an undisclosed sum of money for her silence. And that does not mean that he is guilty of anything. It means that, frankly, he is smart in the sense that he knows, and we talked about this yesterday, that a simple accusation is enough to destroy your career. So that's the latest on Pete Hegseth. 824, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 824, Joan Jones has the news. It's 8:30. Joan, what's coming up?
Russia's use of a nuclear-capable missile is raising eyebrows of world leaders. Also, a prisoner who escaped from a transport van in Coffee County has been rearrested His mother is under arrest, too. That's coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 8:25 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Friends, if you have a piece of property, maybe some land that you don't know what to do with, how about a pole barn from my friends at Stoltzco? Stoltzco, Stoltzco.com. You know that putting up a pole barn from Stoltzco could increase the value of your land big time. You can use it as a garage, an event space, an equestrian building. You can just live in it. The thing is, pole barns from Stoltzco, they are flexible and built really well. You can also, by the way, plan ahead for your retirement home. Now, I love these pole barns from Stoltzco. You've got to check them out online. Stoltzco, Stoltzco.com. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Also, find examples of their work on Instagram and Facebook as well, or at their website, 615-622-5992 for Stoltzco. Hey everybody, Dan Mandis from Nashville's Morning News. The Wall Street Journal reported a while ago that people are feeling stress, anxiety, and depression because of this election. If that's you, talk to my guy, Dr. Christopher Van Schenk. He is a psychiatrist out in Nolensville. Now, he can help you with not only depression, if you're feeling it because of politics or whatever, but he can also help you with alcoholism, drug abuse as well. Go to his website, nolensvillepsychiatry.com. He's got a long list of conditions that he can help you with, either in person or at telehealth. Bottom line is, he wants to make it as easy as possible for you to get the help that you need. He can help your kids as well. Check him out online. Again, nolensvillepsychiatry.com. The number's below. Thanks for listening, and good luck.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Good morning, 8:31, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Russia's use of a nuclear-capable missile in Ukraine has Ukrainian President Zelensky demanding the world respond.
In a defiant warning to the world, Russia carrying out an unprecedented attack with an intermediate-range ballistic missile fired against Ukraine, falling from the night sky over the eastern city of Dnipro, targeting a military-industrial complex. A U.S. official confirming that new missile containing multiple warheads capable of striking several targets at the same time.
That's ABC Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell. A big vote is being held today that concerns teaching the Bible in public schools. It's a vote that'll be watched by people across the country.
Texas is set to make a decision on a classroom curriculum amid a new push for Bible-based learning. The State Board of Education has heard hundreds of arguments for and against the proposed lessons, which are part of an educational resource called Blue Bonnet Learning, which includes Christian lessons for elementary school reading. Supporters say the Bible is a foundational text, crucial to teaching American history.
That's ABC's Rhiannon Alley. A man who created a scene at Nashville International Airport last night spent a few hours in jail. An arrest affidavit shows 46-year-old Jeremy Thornton was cursing loudly, displaying belligerent behavior, and ignoring officers' commands to lower his voice. So they arrested him for public intoxication and disorderly conduct. He's got a date with a judge in January. And that prisoner we reported yesterday who jumped out of a transportation van and ran into the woods in Coffee County, he's been found now. Police rearrested Tony Sweeten. They also arrested his mother. At the time of the escape, Sweeten was being transported from the Coffee County courthouse to face charges of statutory rape. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:33 on WTN. Are you looking to save on internet and mobile this holiday season? Good news for you, friends. Xfinity is having a Black Friday sale. Their best deals of the year are right here. Now, learn how to get your choice of 5G phone on Xfinity Plus. You can also get fast, reliable Xfinity internet with a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited for a great low price. So don't wait. Bring home a new 5G phone and get Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig on Xfinity Mobile. That is a big deal, or should I say a gig deal. Now through December 3rd, ask how to get your choice of free 5G phone with an unlimited Plus line. Plus, get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and an unlimited mobile line together for only $35 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/Black Friday sale to learn more. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Gig speeds available via hotspots to Xfinity Mobile customers only. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Actual internet speeds and data thresholds may vary.
24 westbound lanes in Antioch, right after Harding Place exit 56, crash there blocking the right shoulder. Also, an overturned vehicle on the right shoulder, 65 southbound, and it's been there all night, by the way. It's right at Bethel Road. That's causing some delays. Also, you've got an accident involving injuries, Stones River at Lebanon Pike west of Dania Crest Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey everybody, Dan Mandis from Nashville's Morning News. The Wall Street Journal reported a while ago that people are feeling stress, anxiety, and depression because of this election. If that's you, talk to my guy, Dr. Christopher Van Schenk. He is a psychiatrist out in Nolensville. Now, he can help you with not only depression, if you're feeling it because of politics or whatever, but he can also help you with alcoholism, drug abuse as well. Go to his website, nolensvillepsychiatry.com. He's got a long list of conditions that he can help you with, either in person or at telehealth. Bottom line is, he wants to make it as easy as possible for you to get the help that you need. He can help your kids as well. Check him out online. Again, nolensvillepsychiatry.com. The number's below. Thanks for listening, and good luck. You know, I'm embarrassed to even give the time check. Murphy sent me a text and said that I've got my rant pants on today. That's why I will say that it is 8:40 on Nashville's Morning News. We're running late. I'm sorry.
Are the rant pants cozy though?
And are they safe?
You know what? As long as the rant pants have elastic, I'm all good.
Not like yoga pants.
No, not like yoga pants. No.
No, rant pants don't put forever chemicals into your body.
That's right.
Yeah, no, they certainly don't. Anyway, hello everybody. Chris is here. Johnny's here.
What's up?
Joan is here.
Hello.
And I feel like I've been yelling. I feel like I was back in middays. I'm yelling for like the last hour. I've been yelling, and I don't know why. I'm irritated at Zelensky.
Yeah.
Before we get into the fun, so Zelensky gets these missiles and then fires them at Russia, and then he's appalled that Russia fires back.
Also, can we just point out Putin's been threatening nuclear escalation.
Yeah.
So he fired a missile that's capable of carrying nuclear escalation, and he decided not to, and he showed that it could get by all of their defenses. So if you zoom out, what you see is actually a very restrained Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, he's warning, and he's warning us that he's going to go after our base in Poland.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is escalating, but,
Well, where's the left? Because Joe Biden is now, landmines?
Yeah, you got land.
Yeah, you got landmines.
Yeah.
Aren't they big, no landmines?
Yeah, I remember
not a word.
I remember seeing those PSAs during Saturday morning cartoons about the landmines that we left behind. You remember that?
No.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
I remember seeing PSAs about that. Like, oh, America left landmines. I forget what country it was.
You know why?
And they'd always show a child without a leg. Or,
And like rickety crutches.
That was Princess Diana's cause.
Yes,
that
it was.
what she was talking about, and if the whole world wanted to talk about what she was talking about.
I remember seeing that all the time.
Hold on. I gotta see if I can find. I don't remember landmine PSAs during commercials. During cartoons on
it was
Saturday morning.
nerve-wracking as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell am I going to run into a landmine?
Especially during Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Landmine PSA. PSA about landmines.
Yep. They're there.
Yeah, landmine-free world. That's what they were after.
This is where we're going to upset the lawyers, but I'm going to play this. So what is it? Is it, Chris, look at this. Which one is it?
What's that top one? Is the top one?
A landmine PSA? Should I play it?
I would try that.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can. Kid bouncing a soccer ball. Kids getting out of an SUV, playing soccer. Is a kid going to blow up here?
Landmines.
Hey, what's up?
Soccer ball being kicked, big field.
Yep.
Kids
Wait for
playing.
it.
Come on. Go, go, go. Good luck.
And
Come on, Stace.
Boom.
landmine.
Everybody's cheering.
And Mia got blown up by a landmine.
Oh my gosh.
What in the world? Kids are screaming. Parents are screaming. Kids are crying.
That Mia's,
Is it an actual
Is this a
video
joke?
or is it?
This is landmine PSA.
Oh,
Is this
my
a real?
goodness.
Is this real? Is this what you saw as a
I
kid?
remember stuff like this.
Yep.
Like, we wouldn't put up with it in our communities.
Wait, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Here's what it says. The end of the PSA. If there were
landmines here, right? If there were landmines here, you wouldn't stand for it. Would you stand for them anywhere?
There you go.
Help the UN eradicate landmines
Yeah,
everywhere.
this is the United Nations.
I remember
Yes.
like it was just because it'd be like, are we going to run into landmines at soccer practice?
How in the world? First of all, I don't remember that.
Oh, I remember it like it was just, they terrified my generation, just for the record. I had an ozone layer that was depleting. We had acid rain incoming.
Yeah.
We could get blown up at soccer fields. And then 9/11 happened.
I was going to say, how old were you when 9/11 hit?
I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I had Columbine happen during my generation.
That's right.
Like, we had everything. We ran the gambit. This is why nowadays I'm like, oh, all right, whatever.
Oklahoma
This is why-
City.
This is why you grew up to be a talk show host.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah, Oklahoma City bombing happened.
Yes.
during your generation.
Everything.
95, yeah.
Yeah. OJ. I mean, we were constantly.
Now, you had global warming, but we had global cooling.
Yeah. You guys.
Yes, you did.
You guys had the pending ice age.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
pretty based.
Yeah, but what we were worried about is killer bees.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember that? I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how old you are, Joan, but I mean, when I was a kid, the movie The Swarm came out, and we were all terrified of killer bees.
And then I found out there was a comedian named Killer Bees, and I felt better.
That's exactly right. So
But didn't you always hear about the stories of people in Texas, walking through a grocery shopping mart and, boom, there's bees everywhere. And
I think they also unreasonably scared my generation about quicksand. Quicksand was like that. No matter where you are, if you find yourself in the woods, you may run into quicksand.
I have never in my life encountered quicksand.
I haven't either.
No, I'm not a big hiker.
No.
But I think if there was, have you ever Googled or like YouTube quicksand? See, this is what I do in my spare time. I will look at videos about quicksand.
I want to see your suggested video algorithm.
yeah. Very telling about you.
It's like Journey music videos and quicksand.
Do you know what the weirdest thing that I'll look at on like YouTube is abandoned stuff? Like the other day, I kid you not, I'm looking at a YouTuber who is in an abandoned morgue.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, really weird.
Have you ever seen like the abandoned Canadian city with all the tunnels from house to house? There was like a big nuclear research area.
No.
Yeah, you should look that up. If you like abandoned places.
I'm all into the abandoned stuff. Like I love those things. I find that fascinating. Abandoned theme parks. I just got into abandoned radio stations, which is going to be a lot more in a few years.
I'm looking around here.
Boy, that went dark.
Yeah.
Man, I'm kidding. What do you think of Dan Bongino as Secret Service?
Is that official?
No.
Oh, I'm for it. I'm for
Yeah?
it. I want all the talk show hosts to be in the cabinet.
I've already put my name in. If he goes in, I want that gig.
Did you say I have a Marconi? Is that one of the things?
Yeah. No, I forgot to throw that in.
You got to update the CV
because it sure helps me around here.
I think, Dan, he's going to put you in charge of the liquor cabinet.
There you go.
Yes. So anyway, there you go.
Hey, Joe Biden's back.
Let me just say, all of you may not know this, but my Secret Service name is Celtic. For real. Because I'm Irish.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
And he turned around and he looked at the Celtics players. He goes, I don't think any of you are. I guess we're all Irish today.
Did you see then after he did that, he's walking around with this basketball and he wanders into the crowd and there's somebody 3 feet away and he tosses the basketball at the person 3 feet away and it barely makes it to the person. The person has to reach out to get the basketball. It's like, oh my Lord.
I saw him bounce it on the ground and look very surprised at how quickly it bounced back up at him. Like, whoa.
They're supposed to be flat.
These didn't bounce like this in my day. What are you putting in these balls?
How funny would it be if he bounced the basketball and it came up and hit him in the head? That would, I guess apparently not.
I would have been for it. The Celtic is down. The Celtic is down.
Celtic.
Joan has somehow become the moral conscience of Nashville's morning news.
If that was really his Secret Service name, do you think somebody in the back was like, great, now it's out there and we don't have enough time for him to remember the new one.
Yeah.
He's not going to remember what we changed it to.
It's not his new one. I can tell you why, because it's not descriptive enough. Now, if it was Naked Celtic, then that would be a little different.
Senile Celtic.
Senile Celtic, that's another one. So there you go. No, Biden cannot get out of here fast enough.
Oh my gosh. He's
Who
leaving
was
behind.
it that was calling for him to
everybody
give out the presidency and hand it over to Kamala Harris yesterday? Somebody was out there with that
People are
yesterday.
saying that because they want Kamala Harris to be the first female president.
For a month.
How embarrassing would that be? You're the first female president, but you didn't even win a primary. You just got it handed to you at the end.
For a month.
How insane is it, by the way, that the people of California want her to run for governor?
Yeah, well, listen, they vote for all kinds of weird stuff. They're getting exactly what they ask for.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. I have no problem with California. I have no plans on ever going back except to visit the Reagan Library. That's the one thing I want to do that I have not yet done is visit the Reagan Library, and that's what I want to do.
And abandoned stations.
What do you do when you visit those presidential libraries? I just wouldn't. I don't know if I'd have a good time doing it.
Have you ever been to You've never been to a presidential library?
No. What's in
Yeah,
them?
I haven't either.
The Bill Clinton one might be interesting.
I don't know if I don't know if that would be the selling point on California for me.
Reagan's library?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, whatever. I'm not going to argue about Reagan with you, but here's what I would say.
I wasn't arguing about Reagan. I was arguing about the libraries. I tend to think they're stupid.
Here's a quiz for you guys.
Something to throw.
What was Ronald Reagan's Secret Service name?
Not a fan.
Come on.
What was Reagan's?
Yeah. Stop throwing things over there.
I tried to throw this foamy thing at Chris, and I hit the pole and it bounced back on me.
See, that's exactly what you had wished on the president of the United States.
That is exactly what
Yes.
But are they fun?
Yes.
Do they have snack bars?
Of course they have snack bars.
That's what my kids would ask. Is there going to be snacks?
Reagan has Air Force One.
In the library?
Yeah.
A plane?
Yeah, a plane.
I don't feel like a library is the best descriptive term for that.
Yorba Linda, is that where this is?
No, that's Nixon.
Okay.
Reagan is in Simi Valley.
Got it.
So what's Clinton's got? Does they got barbecue and Playboys?
Some used cigars.
Stop it.
What? I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you did. You said used cigars. That's exactly what I heard. I just want to make sure that everybody else heard it too.
So they put other stuff besides books.
Yes, there's
libraries.
all kinds of. Do you know what I saw the other day? Actually, it was this morning. I got a little sidetracked because
Sidetracked?
Sidetracked.
Sidetracked.
Whatever.
The alcohol can't flow fast enough.
I became distracted by the Smithsonian, and they had like Lincoln's hat that he was wearing when he was assassinated.
Really?
That's the kind of stuff I find
Wow.
fascinating. Yeah.
All right.
Joe, did you ever see when you were on the East Coast in Washington, D.C., did you ever go to the Forbes Theater?
Was I at Ford's? I don't think I was.
Forbes, that's where he was assassinated, right? Forbes
Right.
Theater?
Yeah.
I got that right? Right, okay.
Ford, yeah.
Ford, F-O-R-D.
Yeah.
Ford's, yeah,
Yeah.
Ford Theater. Right.
Ford Theater.
Ford.
Yeah.
No S.
No, it's
Looks like you need to pay a visit to the Lincoln Library. I think that's what we're going to need next.
Anyway.
Where's that Forbes Theater at?
TB is asking, is Dan angrified? what did I say that I shanked a second ago? What was that? Distractified? Sidetracked is what I said.
I was sidetracked.
All right, what was Reagan's code name? People on the super text want to know.
Yeah, come on, Rawhide.
Rawhide.
Wow.
Which is so fitting, right?
Yeah.
The horses guy.
Yeah.
Rawhide.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
His face looked a little rawhide.
I guess we're done.
I didn't like the amnesty stuff.
That was the only thing, though.
That's the only thing?
Really?
I think that's the only thing.
I think so.
Yeah, but it's a big one, though. That's always been my problem with Reagan, too, because that's what J.D. Vance talks about how, and it's true, that's when California turned.
It never went back to greatness.
Never recovered. All right, Chris, we cannot continue to be late. I blame Joan and Johnny. What's coming up?
Well, I blame them too, Dan, and I don't know how you put up with it. Well, we're going to talk about the Matt Gaetz saga. I've been digging through. When something bad happens to the left, I get a lot of salt, I get a lot of cope, and I feel like there's a lot of salt and a lot of cope on the right from the Matt Gaetz saga. So we'll talk about the conspiracy theories, what we thought might have happened, and what they're saying happened. Plus, McConnell's new role, Pam Bondi as AG, and more.
All right, 8:54, Nationals Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. Big news from our friends at DT McCall's. If you've been thinking about buying a gun safe, but you've been putting it off, now is your time because gun safes are sales tax free at DT McCall's. Now, they are the largest Liberty Safe dealer in the state of Tennessee. They got free delivery and free setup. You know, those other places, they're going to charge you $500 at least for delivery and setup in bigger models and $300 in smaller models, but not at DT McCall's. They deliver every safe for free, every time period, and no setup charge. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to say hello. Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin, always online. DTMcCalls.com.